Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Jason White. This is my channel, Jason's Weird Reads. If you're new here and you like horror books, dark fiction of any sort, please hit the subscribe button and we will discuss some books. So this is a recent book haul for me. I didn't get too many books over the last couple months. I just been taking it kind of easy, and but I did get some, of course. I mean, of course, right? But I really ought to do a video on all the ebooks I buy. For some reason, I haven't been including the ebooks that I buy, and there's a lot. If I were to do that now, since the last time I did an ebook update or did ebooks within these recent hauls, the list would be just terribly huge, and I would look terribly irresponsible. All right, so I did get some books in the last couple of months, and I'm really happy with all of them, of course, but I'm really happy with this first one here because this author, she's been getting a lot of discussion lately, and her books are hard to find because they're all out of print, but I'm glad that they are coming back into print. And of course, I'm talking about Roubique Jensen, and I found this on thriftbooks.com, and I found it for dirt cheap, and so I had to buy it. The description of the book was acceptable, and if you look at the spine, it's pretty well butchered. It's not going to survive many more readings. And when you open it up, the pages, they're not falling out, but they look like they could be falling out at any time. So yeah, the book is not, it's acceptable, I guess, because you can still read it, but for how much longer, I don't know. But I'm glad to have found it. I'm going to read it. I'm hoping to read it very shortly. I was going to add it into my November TBR, but for some reason I decided not to. But I might still do that. I'm always changing my to be read list. It's a never-changing thing. You shouldn't trust me when I do a TBR video, but yeah. So I'm gonna read you the synopsis here. This story is about the abandoned house in the woods is exactly what the real estate agent Katie Rogers has been looking for. Thrilled with her find, she moves in with her sister and young niece and nephew, blissfully unaware of its gruesome history of bloodshed and murder. Soon, bizarre dreams begin, nightmares in which Katie is a small child again, running in terror. Then come horrifying visions of a woman wielding a gleaming butcher knife. Of course, Katie doesn't believe that any of it is real until her niece and nephew disappear. Now only Katie can put an end to the savage evil that is slowly awakening, to unleash a fresh cycle of slaughter and death in which the innocent will die again and again. It sounds kind of brutal. Roubique Jensen, her books, as I mentioned, are coming back into print. I don't know who's doing it. I imagine it's somebody in Roubique Jensen's family. But if you go to, I think it's roubiquejensen.com, just do a Google search. There's a website where all the information is. They're releasing them both in ebook and in paperback form. And I believe the first one is out now. I forget the name of it. Something to do with evil children, I think. So definitely go and check that out, and keep your eye on thriftbooks.com. I've been slowly looking through them to see if I can get any deals, just for reader copies. If I can ever afford to get like maybe some collectible ones that are in like pristine condition, I might do that. But I'm glad I found this. It was very cheap. All right, next up, I got Autumncrow by Chaney. Chaney just released this in October, and I'm going to be reading it this month for the Camathon. And when I first mentioned that I was going to be reading this, I didn't know exactly what it was about. I just knew it was a bunch of short stories. And I'm glad to learn that Autumncrow is actually like a fictional town that this book takes place in, and all the short stories are sort of interconnected, and so that's fascinating to me. I can't wait to read it, and I'm thinking of reading this first. There's two books that are pulling at my strings right now to read. Either this one or The Pale White by Chad Lutzke. I was sent this book by Crystal Lake Publishing for an honest review, and I've been wanting to read this since I heard about it. It just looks like a really great story. Let me read you what's on the back here. Alex, a hardened punk goth who's convinced she's a vampire with a penchant for blood. Stacia, a 17-year-old raised by an alcoholic mother. Her fellow captives the only family she's ever truly had. Cammy, the youngest of the three, a mute who finds solace in a houseplant. But does life outside the house offer the freedom they'd envisioned? Or is it too late? The scars too deep? A coming-of-age tale of revenge and survival that explores a friendship and the desperate measures taken to ensure they stay united, held together by the scars that bind them. So basically, this is a story about three young girls who are trapped, captive in a house of some sort by some sort of people. And Chad Lutzke, he always hits you in the feels. It's like he just knows how the human spirit, the human heart, whatever you want to call it, how it works. And he's very much tapped into that. There's a blurb here on the front that I want to read out. It says, packs a powerful punch to both the gut and the heart, not to be missed. And that was by Elizabeth Massey, who's a Bram Stoker award-winning author of Sin Eater. So, yeah, The Pale White by Chad Lutzke. I want to read this first. If not this, then Autumncrow. I might have to flip a coin. Alright. My little kitty here, who's not so little anymore, wants to she wants to jump up on my laptop, and I don't want her to do that. Say hi. This is Minerva, by the way. Hi. Hello. Hi. Right. I found this at my it's actually kind of a funny story. My local Chapters is like Canada's big bookstore. They're completely changing their name to Indigo, and the one that's closest to me moved locations, and I didn't know that they were doing that at first. When I went in, they had like a giant store-wide sale, and they were getting rid of everything. I thought they were going out of business, and that was making me sad. But they were just moving, so that was good news in the end. And one of the books I picked up from that sale is this, Joe Hill, Strange Weather, nice hardcover edition. There goes my kitty again. So, Strange Weather. Yeah, so I've been wanting to read this for a long time. I remember Dane from Dane Reads, he reviewed this a little while ago. I think it was early summer. And he was talking about some of the stories in here that really actually don't interest me. But I'm a big Joe Hill fan, and I'm actually really behind on reading Joe Hill. The last book I read of his was Nosferatu, and it was brilliant. I loved it. And you know what? I've been watching the AMC series, and it's actually really good. I watched like 2 episodes. Not very good at keeping up with television shows, even if I really like them. I don't know why that is, but it's a lot better than I thought it would be. They're really somehow, in some way, they're holding on to the story. I thought that American Gods was doing that too, but then it started to stray really bad in the second season, and I haven't kept up with that either. But anyways, I'm getting off track here. Strange Weather by Joe Hill is a collection of 4 novellas, just like his dad Stephen King would do. And I was happy to find this. It was like less than $10. That's a really good price for hardcover. And I'm just trying to see here if it's first edition. I don't think it is. Oh, it is first edition. So that's cool. I'm going to be reading that at some point, even though I'm not completely interested in every story that's in it. Now this one, I'm not too sure if I included in the video or not, but I was happy to find it at a used bookstore in the late summer, and I picked it up because I want to collect all of them, because it's a collection of, Lovecraftian tales, not a collection, but an anthology, and it's Black Wings, Cthulhu, The Black Wings of Cthulhu, the second volume. I have the first one somewhere. And there's, I think, 6 of them now. And this one includes stories by a lot of great writers that I love. Let me see here. I'm going to pick out the ones that you guys might know. I don't know them all myself. But there's stories in here by Caitlin R. Kiernan, who is a favorite of mine. There's stories by Melanie Tem, the late wife of Steve Rasnick-Tem. John Langan has a story in here. Jason C. Eckhart. Steve Rasnick-Tem, who I just mentioned in reference to his wife. Brian Evenson. Jason V. Brock and Chet Williamson. There's a lot of great names in here, and I'm really looking forward to digging into that at some point. And to complete the physical versions of my, well, actually it's Nikki's, it's not mine, but I'm a co-host, so I guess my experience of the Camathon, I got Disco Death Trap and Golf Curse. So my my collection of Cameron Roubique books are complete. I've read the synopsises for both these in previous videos, so you can check that out. I might link it down. It's in my Camathon announcement video. It'll either be up here or down there or both. So definitely check that out. Cameron has been pretty forthwith on wanting to continue reading slasher horror stories, and I'm all on board for that. I think if you find something that you just enjoy doing, then you should continue doing it. And I think that's great. I can't wait to continue reading Cameron Roubique's novels. He does the slasher thing so very well. And I'm looking forward to reading something of his that's outside of the Kill River universe. And both these, as far as I know, are. And I'm going to start, I think, with... whoa. Yeah. Disco Death Trap, and then maybe work my way to Golf Curse. Disco Death Trap takes place on New Year's Eve. This would be a really cool book to read if you're not participating in the Camathon, but you really want to read Disco Death Trap. Maybe consider reading it around Christmas time, because it's a New Year's Eve tale, so that's really cool. And this story takes place in spring. While they're getting the golf course ready for business, and so I'm looking forward to that too, especially as the weather is getting colder, the days are getting darker. I would really like to focus on a time when things were getting brighter and less cold. They're getting warmer. Alright, so thank you for watching. So keep being creative, and we will catch you again in the next bookish video.